Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everyone. How are you over there, Noreen?
So many díomh agus fáilte roimh haimse an san cathair blá clia fé láthir agus san ni bheith mé an fan nuint liv go rá ada. So beidir go das nói mise freisin óin cadé a thóram. Bhfuil cad gom
Oh, le the hall, Noreen Lana Raig.
anha. So níl éon cuine le gom os rud ag
Oh,
chaim san osán glóite an san ní rah sríomh an sa Dillon Hotel Mihal. Tá si go háling cóig réalt agus go háling.
Cúig réalt.
I know, honest to God. Well, ní mise atá ag íochas. Mar is gnáitíh, mar is óldíh.
That's the
But hello, Inner Circles. How are you doing? You've been with us now for a fair amount of time, and it really brings a dlunder the machrí. Can you say that? Dlunder the machrí.
the Muckree.
It's lovely, lovely. So much nicer than saying it brings a great pleasure to my heart. Dlunder machrí, to see ye and to be here with you too, you know. And I'm in Dublin, staying in this lovely hotel called the Dillon Hotel. I'm not paying for it now. I'm not paying for it now. I'm not
That's the
telling
way
you.
to do it, Noreen.
Jesus, I wouldn't be able to pay for it. There's men outside the door, young lads outside the door. I went down and I left my
Are you
bag.
sure it's a hotel?
Yeah, I was meeting
Oh,
a couple for their wedding next Thursday week. Your friend Michal, Richard Boland, his wife Jane, and their little baby, 9-month-old baby Salvador. And so they came to the hotel to meet me, and I just put my bag down for a minute to go out to the door to and next thing these two fellas are coming out. Oh, you left your bag. I said, no, look what I'm bringing in people, you know. So they're running around after us here.
Why are you in Dublin? Tell us, Noreen.
I'm in Dublin for a lot of reasons. This morning I came up with Cormac's mother, actually, who has a very good friend who is gravely ill with motor neuron disease and wants me to officiate at his funeral. Now, which won't, it's not, thanks be to God, it's not too imminent, but he is. That motor neuron disease, lads, it's, oh my goodness. So we started there, and then I came on to this hotel to meet a wedding couple. So I was kind of going from sort of sadness to, great joy and trying to mix it all. As a result, I'm effed, as I won't say the word. And then tomorrow there's a national radio show called the Brendan O'Connor Show, and they've asked me to pick 5 pieces of music tomorrow that reflect my life. So it's very nice, but it's been very moving, lads. I'm crying all the time. Hopefully, I'll keep my act together when I'm on tomorrow.
Nothing
But
wrong with a few tears live on air.
no, because you can't regain yourself. But I've been bringing in yourselves, of course. You'll be singing, and your father, Sinead O'Connor,
Oh,
the first song I ever learnt. Then a song for aging. One day at a time, sweet Jesus, it's all I'm asking for you. All that. But anyway, no, I really want to address our little chickens here, our inner soul
that's
chickens.
great. And we'll share that radio link when we have
Lovely.
it.
That would be very nice. That would be very nice. But so as I say, I've no candle here. So Owen and Michal, maybe you light a candle
Have your
while
candle. Look, I have two.
um
I have one for you here, Noreen, and one for me.
good. And so we're here at our final month of Lúnasa, dearest inner circlers. And so I want to share 2 little bits with you. One around wisdom and the other around worrying. And so the little one around wisdom is a lovely story I was reading recently by Martin Buber. He would be a philosopher and very well known, um, uh, I suppose, kind of theologian in a way. But anyway, he tells the story of this great rabbi. His name was Zuzia of Hannibal. Zuzia of Hannibal. And he was on his deathbed and he started crying uncontrollably. And his disciples and students, they all said, "What's wrong with you? Why are you weeping? You've almost been as wise as Moses and as hospitable as Abraham. You know the story of Abraham, the Old Testament, being very hospitable to the three angels. And surely, they said, surely heaven and God will judge you favorably. And Susia says to them, yeah. He said, it's true. When I get to heaven, yeah, I won't worry so much why, if God asks me why I wasn't like Moses or Abraham, because I was always hospitable and I was kind of wise to, or, um, knowledgeable too when I was on this earth. But why I'm crying is, what'll I say when God says to me, Susia, why weren't you more like Susia? Why weren't you more like Susia? So that's a little message for you. Why weren't you more like Kathleen, like Cheryl, like Michael, like all of you beautiful people out there? Why wasn't I more like myself? So a message there to go back and see, you know, what is it that is most true to yourself? And the second is kind of a follow on that, which is as you're thinking about these deep questions, don't worry. You know, in scripture, I've often said to you, do not fear is mentioned 365 times. No, in fact, 366 times. 365 for one day of the year and 366 in case you weren't listening at all. But I came recently upon this lovely poem by your own, well, because there are many other people other than Americans looking in, but by your own poet, Mary Oliver. And it's called I Worried. I worried a lot. I worried a lot. Will the garden grow? Will the rivers flow in the right direction? Will the earth turn as it was taught? And if not, how shall I correct it? Will the garden grow? Will the rivers flow in the right direction? Will the earth turn as it was taught? And if not, how shall I correct it? Was I right? Was I wrong? Will I be forgiven? Can I do better? Will I ever be able to sing? Even the sparrows can do it. And I am, well, hopeless. Will I ever be able to sing? Even the sparrows can do it. And I am, well, hopeless. Is my eyesight failing? Or am I just imagining it? Am I going to get rheumatism, lockjaw, dementia? Finally, I saw that worrying had come to nothing, and I gave it up and took my old body and went out into the morning and sang. Finally, I saw that worrying had come to nothing and gave it up and took my old body and went out into the morning and sang. They're my two little messages for you. To be more like ourselves. How can we be more like ourselves? With all our eccentricities and all our beauties and all our flaws. And also, don't worry. Fear not. As you know, many of you, at the end of my email, I quote from Julian of Norwich, all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Now, Ona Sullivan has great tricks for us for Samhain. In case you think
Oh,
that we're,
not Samhain yet.
oh,
Not
not
yet.
Samhain yet.
Yeah,
No,
but that's great, Noreen. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. What's the name of that poem again, Nor?
I am worried.
I'm Worried by Mary
I
Oliver.
worried by Mary Oliver.
I haven't
I,
heard that one before, actually.
No, I
no, and
didn't.
actually, I thought it was the one. I thought you were going to talk about the one. There's another one she does about worrying. She obviously worried a lot, but
Well,
she made it very beautiful.
Didn't she?
Poignant worrying. That's
Yeah.
really what you can
Like,
aim for.
yes, like the other one that she said, I went down to the
Yes,
sea in the morning
down
oh
to the
yeah.
sea.
and went down to the sea. And I said, to see, I feel miserable. What'll I do? I'm paraphrasing it now. I feel miserable. What will I do? And the ocean said, excuse me, my dear, I have work to do. Beautiful poetry.
Yes,
Just
well, actually, she has a theme really of the world going on, no matter what you think, because one of her most famous ones, The Wild Geese,
yeah.
um, it opens with, I mean, it's very famous lines, but it opens with, you do not have to be good. You do not have to crawl on your knees through the desert for 100 miles repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. That's where the poem turns. Meanwhile, the soft pebbles of rain are moving across the landscape, and then a third meanwhile later in the poem. Meanwhile, the wild geese high in the clean blue air are heading home again.
Yeah.
Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you again and again, harsh and exciting like the wild geese, announcing your place in the family of things. So meanwhile, actually,
Yes.
is a real kernel of her work.
Great. Yeah, extraction of, yeah, that word meanwhile is wonderful. Like, so while something's going on within us, the outer world is also going on without us. And as so
Yeah.
within. And Francis and Singh, I see are joining us for the first time. There might be a couple of other, well, there certainly are people joining us for the first time watching the recording.
Yeah, lovely.
People who've been with us, the mystics of the soul circle will know that this whole thing is set up as without, so within. The outer rhythm of the seasons are simply mirroring our inner life. So as our inner life is happening, meanwhile, the outer world is happening. As the
Mm.
outer world is happening, meanwhile, it's all happening within us too. And we're all going through this cycle ourselves. And I believe that the trick is, like, we have our inner seasonal life happening, and then there's the outer seasonal life. And if we can kind of make a connection, make a little link between the two, great wind catches our sails. That's what I believe the great teachings tell us. That if you're able to bridge the inner and outer worlds, if you're able to make those connections and acknowledge those connections, then you stand a chance. We might just stand a chance. And another great thing is doing it together too, collectively.
Yeah.
Um, Mary's work, I associate, actually, it's very solitary, isn't it?
Mary Oliver, it is, it is.
Would you say that? No, her work is very solitary, like, which is beautiful.
Except,
I'm not, it's not a
yeah.
at all.
Yes, I suppose, except for her connection, she has a very deep connection with God in the very best sense of the word, which was not institutional, but just prayer was very big to her. Prayer was her existence, and prayer was looking at the little ant on your hand or whatever.
Yeah.
But everything was a prayer. So she was very deeply religious. She often reminds me, actually, of Emily Dickinson, too, They had that same kind of quirkiness
Oh,
about them
yeah.
and simple expression, which in fact in Ireland we have two, like our Ská Chéile a Bharamid, Anín Círóg Ella, one spider recognizes another. One inner circle spider is after recognizing all the others that we are here.
Anyway, on, I better keep moving because Nor, we
Oh,
do want to release you to relax and to have your dinner and to just go to bed because you have a big day tomorrow as well. But before that, Noreen has to play her part in a mummers play that I wrote a few years ago. A mummers play. Our father was a great fan of the mummers play. A mummers play was a kind of a medieval, early modern form of theater before our kind of modern idea of the theater. And people would dress up. It was community theater. People would dress up, and they'd often dress up as famous figures, like from mythology, or they dress up as historical sort of figures, and they would act out these plays that always had a very powerful moral to tell. And there was dancing and all sorts of things, and mask wearing and costume wearing, and it was known as mummers, a mumming and a mummers play. So once there was a friend of ours, a man called Padraig Ó Tuama. And Padraig Ó Tuama, he's a great poet. And here's his website. Hang on, here's Padraig Ó Tuama's website. And look at this, Nora. He has
mm.
on his homepage, it is in the shelter of each other that people live. Er sca
I agree.
a varis nadima.
Yeah.
And he has a beautiful book of poetry called In the Shelter. And he's a great character, a poet, but he was also, for years, he was a director of a very powerful and very highly regarded cross community organization in Northern Ireland during the Civil War in Northern Ireland between the Irish and the British community up there. And his center, the Coromila Center, was one of the great leaders of peace and negotiation between the warring factions and communities up there. And he was the director of that organization, you know, as a poet. So he's a great man to talk about the poetry, the poetic reflection on violence, actually, yeah, and how we tell the story of othering people and justifying the violence that we all are capable of bringing to the world. So he's wonderful. So we had him up here for a couple of days. He was down at there's an amazing place just south of where I live here in Western New York called the Chautauqua Institution, and he was down there with Krista Tippett at the time, and so we went down to visit him. And threw him in the car and brought him back up here and put on a co presentation at the cathedral in Buffalo City. And my wife, Andrea, she directs a nonprofit, and she brought Padraig with some community activist leaders from the Black communities in the city of Buffalo. And they had this amazing conversation between the Northern Irish experience and the Black African American urban experience here, too. And it was absolutely amazing. So beautiful.
Wow.
And so I thought, you know, having Padraig up here, and he's he's a funny character. He's great fun, but he'd be a bit shy, you know, and so he'd be an introvert. And so I thought we were having conversations about what we would do for the show. And anyway, he got himself into a bit of trouble because he was talking about mummers plays and he was researching them. And I was like, "Oh, Padraig, we'll have to do a mummers play." And it was at this time of year, it was at Lúnasa. And so he kind of got himself, and he had to reluctantly agree to take part in my mummers play. And I knew this was pushing him, but I was playful. I was being kind of mischievous with Padraig,
Yeah.
and I said to myself, "Look, I'll write us a mummers play, and we can enact it in the cathedral of Buffalo, the Episcopalian Cathedral." So I put together this, and it was all around Lúnasa. The theme of Lúnasa was this time of year, and so the god Lu, as you know, is the great Celtic god of abundance. His name is Padraig O. Tuamat. Maybe Cormac will put a link to him. You should check out his work. He also does this series of poetic reflections on Krista Tippett's network, the On Being network, called Poetry Unbound. Poetry Unbound, and he takes a poem every week, and I think he might get the author to read it sometimes, and then he gives a reflection on it and a conversation sometimes with the author. It's really powerful, powerful stuff. And so I put together this mummers play. Uh, the god Lu is present there. Or no. Yes, what happens is the Celtic story. You have the god of fertility and abundance, Lu, and then the god of restriction and ending and finality, the god Crom Dubh, Crom Dubh. And Crom Dubh is that there's always in mythology these battles between forces, the yin and the yang of life. And what happened when Christianity came to Ireland was that the god Lu was superimposed with Saint Patrick, the mythological Saint Patrick. And St. Patrick was very much a historical figure, very much historical. And we have his autobiography, even. But there also, in the Irish imagination, there's no point telling the story straight. You know, there's no point telling it straight at all. St. Patrick became mythological. And so there are places all around the country where St. Patrick visited, where St. Patrick slept, where St. Patrick undertook all these mythological battles and extraordinary feats of strength and power. And one of these places is called Croagh Patrick, and it's this extraordinary hill up in the west of Ireland, in Mayo. Here, let me see if I can show you here. I love this place, Croagh Patrick. Hang on, here it is, and it's in the shape. It's like a pyramid. When you park the car below it, you're looking up, and it looks like you're in the at the foot of this big, huge pyramid, and it's got this extraordinary energy off it. It's up here in the near the town of Westport in Mayo, and you climb up the top of it. There it is. So it's like this weird natural pyramid, and you go up, you walk up the top, and every year at the start of Lúnasa now, I should have done this during our first call, but I forgot. Or the start of Lúnasa, people do this pilgrimage up to the top of Croagh Patrick, and many people do it barefoot. Are there any barefooters up here? I did it myself once, and there were women, old women, doing it barefoot. As I was walking up, and up the top, it's all of this loose scree stone, you know. It's really rough. It's this magnificent view from the top of Croagh Patrick. It's just absolutely stunning. And so this Lou used to be the god associated with that place, and it became morphed into St. Patrick. So what I did here in the Mummers play was I had this battle between Cromdove and St. Patrick, and there was a war, kind of a battle breaking out between the two of them. But then magically, and this is my very own reflection on it, St. Bridget appears in the Mummers play, and St. Bridget brings peace between these warring factions. So that's my own poetic license on this.
And who did you get to play St. Bridget in your big show in the Buffalo Cathedral?
Of course, I had my wife, Andrea, appear. She was St. Bridget the peacemaker, you see.
Unbelievable.
And I even dressed Padraig backstage. He's St. Patrick. I was Cromdove. He was St. Patrick. So I put a cloak on him and a big mitre that we stole from backstage at the cathedral. I wanted him to wear a hat, but he wouldn't wear the hat.
Oh, come on.
He wouldn't wear that. Unbelievable. So anyway, we're going to recreate it here.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
And it's very important. I spent a lot of time working on the meter of this as well too. So Cromdove speaks in a very kind of basic, simple.
There's a bit for everyone to join in though.
For everyone,
at the very end, everyone joins in. St. Patrick then is in iambic pentameter. St. Patrick is the more civilized sort of voice, the voice of reason in iambic pentameter. But then St. Bridget comes in 3/4 time, in waltz time, waltzing in between the two. And then at the very end, there is a crowd. We all recite this together. I'm going to put it in the chat, and then I'm going to allow everyone to unmute at the very end. Okay, not wait until the end. And then everyone's going to unmute, and we're all in cacophony. We're going to chant the last 4 lines together, which I'm going to put in the chat right now.
Powerful.
This is so powerful.
Oh, a world premiere. Well, no, you've already done it once.
We've done it, but we haven't done it. This is a virtual world premiere. So at the very end, we're all going to chant these lines. We'll all unmute at the same time and chant in total cacophony.
Okay, can everyone look at the chat? Yeah, you can see that, but you can enjoy a little bit of verse before that. So,
and there's also some other crowd participation, which you can do without unmuting. Okay.
Yes.
So here we go. I'm Cromdove. Micheál is St. Patrick, and Noreen is St. Bridget. Here we go. We ready, lads?
We're ready. Scene. Lights go down.
Lights go down. I hobble on stage.
Break a leg.
I am Cromdove, your god above. Crane your necks in fear, not love. When I command, you all will chant, yes, Cromdove, yes, Cromdove. When I demand your answer loud, I request you answer proud. Shout it twice to show me proof. Do you want your crops to grow? Yes, Cromdove.
Yes, Cromdove.
Yes, Cromdove. When harvest comes, I sit on high. Without my blessing, no stalk sprouts. No corn comes high. No song is sung from any dove. Do you want your crops to grow? Yes,
Cromdove.
Yes, Cromdove. Only I possess the power to reckon, weigh, and measure. I am the god who grants your lot, your pain, your poise, your pleasure. I am the stingy, petty god. My ledger marks your every move. Do you want your crops to grow?
Yes, Cromdove. Yes, Cromdove.
I am a stingy, petty god. Your firstborn pays my toll. The tax that you must pay me for you all to save your soul. My walls are high, my tariffs tough. You pay with all your sweat and blood. Do you want your crops to grow?
Yes, Cromdove. Yes, Cromdove.
Do you want to see the morn? Will you give me your firstborn? Are you faithful to me sworn? Work your fingers to the bone, then you will give me all your corn.
Hard spotlight. To the left, St. Patrick arrives on horseback, cigar in his mouth. I am St. Patrick, and I've travelled far. Your people captured me when just a boy. Ripped from my mother's arms despite our cries, enslaved to do hard labour on your farm. One night, in dark and cold, an angel came and whispered like a mist upon the wind that I was to arise and go back home, but only to return to you again. And when I would return, the angel said, I would bring this staff high in my hand, and bring it down upon the hoary head of Crom Dubh, and free you people in this precious land.
Spotlight to the right. Enter St. Bridget with her staff. I am St. Bridget, Mary of Wales. I am as ancient as mountains and streams. I am triple goddess, child, woman and wise one. The rainbow's my cloak that I hang on sunbeams. Fire is my symbol. I burn all that's unpure. Change is my hallmark. I herald the spring. Artists and silversmiths know of my power as I kindle the flame from the embers once more. I also bring peace and a swift end to war, for war never yields any handsome return. Every king knows that when I appear, like sunlight on dew, all deceit will be burned. So my two fellows, St. Patrick, Crom Dubh, try as you might, your might never should overwhelm either, for both of you need each other for balance and equal esteem. So lay down your crozier, St. Patrick, I pray. We need this Crom Dubh to bring home our hay, our wheat and our corn. Watching over them all, he summons the harvest. We are in his thrall. Crom Dubh, you're so cruel and evil a master. Why not just chill out? You're such a disaster. Your image is terrible. Everyone hates you. If you listened to Patrick, I know what awaits you will be 10 times greater than any old offering that a scared and terrified people will bring. Your stores will be flowing with silver and gold. If only you listened to what Patrick told.
Oh, no, not you. I know your tricks. I'll never bow to that dirty Patrick. He hisses lies. His tongue is a snake. And he'll tell this nation whatever it takes to get them drunk on tales of love and make them blind to me, Crom Dubh. But love puts no corn into the barn, and when the winter comes they'll die. Just listen to this shepherd's slave, who never farmed and stored and staved. He owns no land, no house, no gold. My peasant people dare not move, or else I'll rob them of their food.
Crom Dubh, you villain, let the people speak. You've robbed them of their voice for all these years. My good news will rid them of your vice, and with this rod I'll whip your idle ears. And new age is upon us, mark my word, a mighty wind is blowing through this land. Your filthy pagan ways just seem absurd, and now you will bow down to a new lord. It is you who are the snake who I will banish. I'll bait you with this crozier till you vanish.
Well, now, here we have it. Two fine men indeed, slugging it out and wasting our time. I've seen this before, and I know what we need. And on fertile land, I will sow this seed. Once two great kings were lined up for battle, 10,000 horses and 10 times the men. But just before dawn, as the sabres did rattle, I had to do something to silence the din. So I sparkled this dust that I keep in this bag that has magical powers. It's a secret so deep. All of them fell into a good sleep. And while they were sleeping, they all had the same dream, that they won the Great War, all on their own. So when they awoke, they all marched off home, singing the songs of a glorious scenes. Now listen, good people. Listen, good circle, inner circle, good people. And I'll tell to you the magical words that will banish all harm. Chant them with me, and while you sing, I'll sprinkle the sand that will put them to sleep. And when they awake, they will both believe that their dreams of winning this battle were real. Each will march away feeling that they won the day. So now chant with me these words, I pray. The happy heart is true. The happy heart is true.
The happy heart is true. The happy heart is true.
Magic dust on the way. They fall asleep, and when they wake up,
Hey, go to sleep, Patrick.
I'm after waiting my keyboard, and so it won't move for me. Okay.
What?
Now,
And they wake up, the three of them stand and say together,
everyone unmute and we'll say it all together. Here we go, in cacophony. Now learn you must
that live
harmony,
harmony,
as
taking as much as you give.
That is all
Nothing
they would
can stand that is all on one foot.
Nothing can grow.
Nothing can grow
without
growing roots.
Nothing will be
Feet on the ground, nothing will be beneath us.
their own
Their
Eyes
eyes
open
open wide,
wide.
nothing will
Nothing will
beyond
be
us.
beyond us.
beautiful
Our opposites
opposites
parallel.
balance.
It's a beautiful thing.
The frontier in them. There
Prayer for the
for the
crossing.
crossing.
Opposite.
Amen. Well done, Owen.
Well, that was, I've never actually heard anything.
That's fun, man. That sounds great, doesn't it? When everyone
Oh.
repeats the same thing, it's powerful, man.
It's cool, isn't it? We broke Zoom, Cormac says, yeah.
We broke
It wasn't
Lúnasa. We
designed-
just broke
It wasn't
Lúnasa.
designed for this, yeah.
Ah, man. That was powerful, shamanic, everybody. That was really
Well
good.
done.
Shamanic.
Well done, lads,
So
and well done.
I should have given more background to that, but like all those little details are all part of the Crom Dubh, St. Patrick, Bridget story. But they're all little parts of the story. They're all like actual references to,
Yeah, like I said, Bridget making them all fall asleep. It's lovely.
yeah.
It's lovely.
And then there's a big story about Crom Dubh. Oh no, St. Patrick goes to this place where all the idols of Crom Dubh are, and he takes his crozier and he smashes all the stone idols of the pagan gods of the Celts, and there's a place
Is
in Ireland
is
for
Crom Dubh kind of like one of the incarnations of winter then, or something?
Yeah,
Did I-
in a sense, he's sort of like there's always a mythological god of limit. Like we have Father Time, the Grim Reaper, who comes with the sickle, to cut back. So it's the harvest image. It's actually at the end, it's the harvest time god, and Saturn is the most outermost planet. Like it's the idea of limit
Yeah.
and cutting back, like harvest. It's over. The party's over. Swish, your life is over. Cut the head off you. It's that kind of energy. So Crom Dubh was the Celtic version of that sort of energy. Yeah.
And of course, that's the big stone too in Lochgar, the Rounach Crown Dove, that you stand up against and you put your little hands out and your forehead up,
Yeah.
and Crown Dove will talk to you.
And that God always asks for sacrifice from you. So that energy you must respect and honor. It's like the Old Testament God is very much that kind of in our Judeo-Christian kind of pantheon.
Yeah.
It's a fickle God as well too, who can smite you, and a jealous God even, an irrational God.
Yeah.
So you must treat it in that way, and you must always bow down to this God and humble yourself, because this energy can destroy you, if it's with the change of the wind.
Right.
That kind of
And
energy too.
yeah, and of course the Roman Catholic Church would have taken over that image too, and this is the status of the priest and God too in the heavens, that is the punitive God.
Yeah, with the big beard, like, yeah, that kind of image. And then Jesus is often seen as the other side of that.
Yeah, antithesis, yeah.
The kind of the Jupiter,
Right.
kind of in the Greco-Roman sort of tradition. Jupiter represents that kind of other energy, the energy of abundance, of grace, of generosity, of flow, of expansion. And so, yeah, so in the it's said sometimes in the Christian tradition, you have God the Father is that sort of restrictive God, and then Jesus is this release.
Yeah,
And then
the
the
same as
Holy
Eve.
Spirit is then Bridget. Yeah.
Yeah, and Eve, of course, would be the Mary is the embodiment of the Eve of the fall, as it were, and of course as Saint Bridget too. Now I'm going to leave you
Go
and
on, Noah.
leave you
I
and
say,
love you now.
Bridget.
And I'll see you on tomorrow and Micheál as
Yes.
well tomorrow in person.
I'm
So,
packing my bag. Yeah. And
and
we'll have dinner tomorrow.
yeah, thanks a million. And love to all of you, and I'll see you soon. And it's just great to be with you. I love you all, and thank you for joining us. It's a
Thanks,
wonderful privilege and an honor to know you all. God bless you.
Lovely.
Off she goes to her 5-star life.
Well,
24 hours of 5-star life. That's what she's
listen, a
on.
bit of 5-star life ahead of you now next week.
Gosh, look,
We're,
you know.
I'm packing my bags. We're bringing the fourth group of the year to Ireland, but this is a very particular group. It's more of a corporate group. And so we've designed it going to 3 different locations across the country. We're starting in Ballymaloe, which is the center of Irish high cuisine. And we're staying there for 2 nights, then going to the Burren on the West Coast for 2 nights, to this place called Gregan's Castle, which is an amazing kind of family run hotel there in the Burren. And then over to Dublin. We have to end up in Dublin. It wouldn't have been my choice, but I'm organizing it in collaboration with this amazing designer, a guy called Brian Collins, and he's totally crazy about the Book of Kells. So we have to end this to visiting the Book of Kells as part of the pilgrimage. So unfortunately, we have to go to Dublin, and so we'll do 2 nights up there. We'll go to the Book of Kells, and in the National Museum in Ireland, there's what's known as the Treasury Room, and the National Museum in Ireland has one of the largest collections of gold in any museum in the world. That there was the Celts were just crazy for gold, and then as well to the Celtic Christian monastic period, there was just huge amounts of gold being produced and being manufactured and designed in Ireland. And actually, it's interesting, Micheál, Croagh there was gold found in the center of Croagh,
No.
and the locals and the local council banned any mining. They wanted to mine Croagh, and they managed to protect it from any commercial exploitation. So there's gold in the center of that mountain there, which is perfect for the whole kind of concept of the God of generosity and giving, that person's mountain, that God's mountain, would have gold in the center of it. There's a river flows out for it, the Owen Bui, which is Awan. Awan is the Gaelic for a river, Awan. Avon in English, in the English, the word Avon, there's rivers all over England called Avon. It's from the Celtic word Awan, river. And Bui is yellow. So there's the river is called the Yellow River that comes out of Croagh Patrick, and it was thought it was called that because of siphoning of gold that might have happened from that river, that's sacred, from the sacred mountain. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what we're doing next week. Really looking forward to that. And of course we have the free gathering of our first Samhain live online gathering. And do you know what, Michal? We have Cormac McCarthy here. Cormac, do you want to?
Oh yeah, Cormac is accompanying us on
Want
the
to
week
say
next
how's
week.
it going?
It's actually the first group own we've ever brought to Ireland where we change venue,
Yes,
not
right.
once but twice. So
Yeah.
I've all my dirty jokes ready for the bus at the back of the bus,
Oh my
you
gosh.
know.
Cormac, do you
Um,
want to say? Do you want to say how's it going? Is he there? Maybe he's not there. Is he?
maybe he's not. He might
I
be
am, yeah.
watching.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Want to hello, hello, hello from a very brainy Limerick bedroom. Yeah, I was just thinking of Padraig O'Tuma there, a great Gael goer as well, great Irish speaker. And I think he gets a lot of his poetry and his flair for words from the Irish language, which of course we share words in Irish every day on our social media. One that went viral nearly this week was Anra, um, which just means soup. So it's definitely soup season in Ireland. So if anyone has good soup recipes, please share them. I think this time of year is just like you get all the root vegetables in Ireland, just throw them into a pot with some stock and leave it there for a while. And
Actually,
that's what my grandmother used to serve up to us on every Sunday before she gave you a full roast dinner and warm apple crumble for dessert. So it's definitely that time of year now in Ireland. We're well into soup season. It's getting cold, so be sure to pack your warm socks and your warm jacket on.
it'd be
Um,
it'd be cool if people shared their soup recipe
oh
with.
please,
Yeah.
please, yeah. I have a nice one for butternut squash soup. And the trick is you get some red peppers and you get the butternut squash and you put them in the oven and you roast them with some balsamic vinegar. And it brings a real sweetness, and then you add it to the rest of the soup at the end.
Oh my God.
Tops. I'm telling you, it's the only way to do it.
I've got a trick for
Um,
soup as well, which is you just get a pound of Kerrygold butter and you put it
Yes.
in the pot, and
Yeah.
it's amazing.
yeah, the butter's always good. So one thing I've been working on recently, lad, is I've been looking at the Inner Soul Circle platform, and I've been working on setting up a new platform.
Okay.
It's all very technical, but hopefully within the next 10 days before the month is out, you're going to get an email from us asking you to just join this Circle community, is what it's called. So that's the platform that we're going to be hosting on, and that's going to be a one-stop shop. So everything that we share with you is going to be there. And what it's going to allow you to do is you'll be able to access your enlightenment letter, for example, but you'll also be able to comment, see other people's comments, and interact with other people in the community. So what that means is, and as well, like if we have a live session and you're having a really good conversation, then you have to jump back in with everybody else, and you're like, oh God, I have this thing I wanted to say and I didn't get to say it. You'll be able to jump straight onto the Circle community, make contact with that person, and continue the conversation. Because I think we've all kind of experienced, even myself, I've jumped into breakout rooms and had these wonderful conversations, and then I want to keep that going. So it's going to make it a lot more social, and it's going to keep it all centralized. What people will also be able to do is if they want to, there's an app that they can download, and if they want to access it from there, they can access it from there, and you can do everything from your phone then as well. So I'm working on it. I don't want to go live with it until it's absolutely ready. But you'll just get an email, it'll transfer it over, and all your details will go to the Circle app, and we'll take care of everything from that side. So we'll transfer it over, and it'll be seamless in theory. So I'm going to do a couple of dry runs this coming week, and then and then we'll go live. So keep an eye on that. I'm very excited about it. It's going to be great.
You're doing Cormac he's doing so much work behind the scenes. You wouldn't believe it, and he'll be driving the van even on Monday now for our
Yeah,
group.
really
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
for the
Yeah,
rest of the week.
like me, Hall. I've been coming up with all my dirty jokes. It's going to be
Meanwhile,
covering a lot of mileage. So
meanwhile, Cormac has embarked on a master's in project management as well too at the university.
yes. So that's why I missed you all last month. I was up to my neck in assignments already, if you can imagine that. But it's been fantastic. Yeah, it's been really, really good. It's big change going from being the teacher to being the student.
Oh.
Um, but still the teacher at heart. I'm kind of at the back of the class. I'm like, I mean, I know what they're saying, but that's not the way I would have taught it at all.
I'd say there's a few teachers in this group who know what, yeah.
Yeah. So just I suppose we all have our style, and it's interesting being back in academia and being back in academia in the age of artificial intelligence. I seem to be the only person in my class who's actually, composing everything myself. So hopefully hopefully translates to Mark. I really hope that I can do a better job than ChatGPT, but we'll see now when the grades come out.
There was
Yeah, but it's fantastic.
one of the cool things I always remember about Noreen there a few years ago. She went back to do an interfaith seminary to become an interfaith reverend, and she went to seminary for 2 years over in London and flew over and back like 20 times over 2 years. And to see her go from, Noreen Irene, like a high priestess of Irish, Celtic chant, PhD in theology, and she went back and sat at the back of the class, for those 2 years, and it always left such a huge impression on me. That even, and I don't know, she was what, 65 at the time or something, and I thought to myself, my God, yeah, we have to keep going back, keep sitting back in and learning. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been great, and like if this course is a lot different to kind of previous courses I've done in that like it's like project management is really practical. It's kind of like steps and processes and things where like teaching is kind of like you could do it this way and this feature theory is this way, but also this and it's all kind of you have to kind of figure it out yourself. Whereas project management is like do this and don't do anything different, because if you do, it's all going to go to it's all going to be a mess. So I'm kind of like, good, nice, straightforward, black and white. And yeah, it's great. It's great to engage with a subject you kind of don't know anything about because everything's new and exciting.
It's great.
Thank you,
Well, we're
Cormac.
Yeah.
so delighted that you're part of our team, Cormac, and bringing all that perspective in, all of your perspectives. It's so cool.
Sure, I love being here, guys.
And Cormac's behind the scenes always with the word of the day, and making all that happen. And yeah, every now and then one of the words takes off we can't work out why.
Yeah.
Soup was actually one of the most popular of the year. And we're
It's
like,
it
soup.
just people love it. Yeah. And it was one of those words where I kind of, it's midweek. I'm not sure, like,
You weren't
what to
sure of
put
it,
in here
right?
on a Tuesday, yeah.
And off it, well, yeah. So it's so interesting to see that happen all the time. Thanks so much, Cormac.
Yeah.
I'll see you on Monday morning. Yeah.
I'll see you Monday morning. Safe travels.
Can't wait for the week ahead, Cormac. Thanks so much. And Mihal,
How you doing?
do you want to give us an El Blashed and then we'll have a breakout room. Oh, hang on a sec. I saw Olivia wanted to say something. Hang on a sec.
Yeah.
Olivia had your hand up there.
Raised.
No, that was a mistake.
Oh, are you sure it's not something you need to
yes.
get off your chest, Olivia?
Nope, I'm fine. Thank you. This is my first time on the live.
Nice. Oh, sorry.
Ever since I joined, so this is kind of fun.
Thanks, Olivia. Well, listen, we wanted to that I love to hear that. So thank you so much for saying that. Yeah. And Mihal, yeah. So if you want to give us an El Blashed of something, I don't know, or maybe you don't, and then we can have our little breakout room chat.
One of the great songs we grew up listening to Noreen sing, and it makes the reaper and the harvest are mentioned, and it's a great shape note song, and it goes. She'd often use it when she enters a room. She'd process in from the back, and she'd sing a medley of 5 or 6 tunes. But this was always one of them. I'll see if I know it. Let our names be remembered in the book the angels keep, where each act is rewarded, and the seeds we have sown we shall reap. And when the angel reaper cometh, and the harvest time is here, you shall find in heaven's house a mansion reserved for me. Let our names be remembered in the book the angels keep, where each act is rewarded, and the seeds we have sown we shall reap. And when the angel reaper cometh, and the harvest time is here, whoop, 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 you will find in heaven's house a mansion reserved for you and me.
It's a fabulous song.
It is such a great melody, and I was always just like, that's a real banger, you know, because when
I
you're
know.
young, you're just like merciless with your parents. You're just like, yeah, that one's not great, that one's not great, but like that one was always like, you could do like a metal version of that one as well, or a jazz version, you know. Um, and then when the angel reaper cometh, and it's such a happy song, and when the angel reaper cometh, that's when you'll find my mansion. Um, and harvest time is here, everybody. That's why we're here. It's almost past. And when Cormac was speaking there, I was reminded of a poem by Sylvia Plath, and it's called Mushrooms. And there's mushrooms bursting forth all over the place here in County Clare. In County Clare, it's famous for limestone, you know, very not very deep soil, and there's limestone underneath. So it's a really rich um, uh, agricultural area, and for livestock, it's all the limestone is very brittle, and the water breaks it apart, and the grass sucks it up quite easily. So for livestock like horses and cows, it's really a famous area. So the mushrooms, anyway, I'm seeing them all over the place. I'm out walking my baby, and I see them, and we go up to two donkeys up the road, and there was a magnificent blast of mushrooms coming up out of some donkey poop, and I was admiring it while I was feeding the donkeys apples. All of our apples are almost gone. There's one or two left on our apple trees at the back, so we feed them to the donkeys. Um, because this year we're just so swamped with our little 15-month-old that our apple pie factory has not gotten started yet. So we feed them to the donkeys, but plenty of them fall on the ground to feed the soil, that's for sure. And but anyway, this mushroom, I was thinking about writing a poem about mushrooms myself, actually. So maybe that's an
The
invitation to you.
people need a mushroom poem. I
The
want
more
one.
the more mushroom poems, the better,
There
really.
can't be too many.
No, like mushrooms themselves.
Indeed.
Anyway, this is called Mushrooms, and it is it hits the mushroom on the head. Overnight, very whitely, discreetly, very quietly, our toes, our noses take hold on the loam, acquire the air. Nobody sees us, stops us, betrays us. The small grains make room. Soft fists insist on heaving the needles, the leafy bedding, even the paving. Our hammers, our rams, earless and eyeless, perfectly voiceless, widen the crannies, shoulder through holes. We diet on water, on crumbs of shadow, bland mannered, asking little or nothing. So many of us, so many of us. We are shelves, we are tables, we are meek, we are edible. Nudgers and shovers, in spite of ourselves, our kind multiplies. We shall by morning inherit the earth, our foot's in the door. Perfectly voiceless, widen the crannies, shoulder through holes. We diet on water, on crumbs of shadow, bland-mannered, asking little or nothing. So many of us, so many of us. We are shelves, we are tables, we are meek, we are edible, nudgers and shovers in spite of ourselves. Our kind multiplies. We shall by morning inherit the earth. Our foot is in the door. Cute little mushroom poem, you know. We 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 have to give our little fellow, he's 16 months, so we got to give him a haircut at some stage. And so I was proposing, because I've been thinking about mushrooms, I was proposing the mushroom cut, you know, for the kids. Kind of because you got to set the roots early for a good 1980s mushroom cut. But my wife's not a big fan, so we're just gonna have to get on with it. But I think we could take a breakout room on, and then I've one or two things for after that.
Very good. Yeah, let's just see if we're all set. I think Cormac McCarthy is there in
Yeah,
the background.
I'm good to go.
Great stuff. And yeah, let's give 20 minutes, and so you'll be with your conversational partner there. And if your person isn't there, just put your hand up or whatever, and Cormac can reassign you. And yeah, really just reflect on anything as we come to the close of this harvest season. And look forward to the dark half of the year. I certainly am looking forward. I'm done with the leaves now. They can all fall. I'm sick of them. And it's time now for a bit of the inner world for me. So we can have a good old chat, and we'll be back in 20 minutes. Yeah. Thanks, Cormac. Welcome back, everybody. Wonderful. Great. Great to see you all there. Hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Mary. Good to see you.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Great. Great. Just packing my bags now, and
Safe travels.
yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, great travels. Safe travels to you, Owen.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll see. There's a big storm blowing in Ireland at the moment, Cormac. Is that right? Is there a storm there now?
No.
Yeah, we're getting orange wind warnings all along the
Yeah.
west coast, except for Clare, which I think is where you're going to be landing into. So
That's right.
should be all right for now. Clare hasn't been added to the list, but every single county around it has. So
And when
that's
you're up,
interesting.
when you fly to Ireland, as many of you know, like you're so up high, like up there, the wind really matters as to how quick you fly over and how slow you fly back. So if there's a strong wind, you can get in like an hour earlier than scheduled, which I always think is so funny. Like you never really think of the wind as a sort of a thing when you're in your airplane, but and it's less of a thing across the continental US. But when you go up north, the wind over the ocean must just blow really hard. And so anyway, hopefully I'll be there early. Hopefully I'll get in early.
To be fair, if
Micheál,
anyone flying into Shannon, it's always windy. I've never flown into Shannon and it's been a nice, soft, gentle landing. It's the whole airport is a wind tunnel, so I don't think it's going to make a difference if it's a hurricane or if it's a grand soft day.
would anybody like to chime in and just give us a little feedback on where the conversation led or anything that came up? We'd love to hear sort of, or any sort of response to what you've heard today or even been experiencing over the last few weeks since we spoke. We'd love to hear from you. You can just jump right in or raise your hand or whatever. I think you can unmute yourself, I think. Yeah. And this is a great time for the shyest person amongst us to go first. Yeah. Just jump right in there.
Oh, this is Cheryl. Hello.
Hey, Cheryl. How's it going?
Hi.
I can see you.
Good. Yeah, I'm not shy, so I'm always happy to jump in when no one else will.
You're great.
We had a lovely conversation with Singh, and this is her first time on the Inner Soul Circle and with Karen. And we had a grand time. Thank you for giving us 20 minutes. You know, you can cover a lot more territory in 20 minutes. So that was really good. So anyway, I just wanted to say thanks. We had a wonderful time. And at least for now, from me, it's adios, slán because I'm stepping back from the Inner Soul Circle for a little while. And after today, I'm not sure that was actually the right thing to do. But anyway,
Don't second guess, Cheryl. Walk on.
Walk
yeah,
away.
I have other callings on my time.
Yeah.
And anyway, just a big plug that I was at the Kingdom County, and thanks for adding that at the beginning of September, because that allowed me to do a whole month in Ireland, which was fabulous. And if you haven't been on a Tourist Donham tour, sign up.
Thank you, Cheryl. How was the rest of your trip? You went off on
Yeah.
a writing retreat.
Oh my
I think
gosh,
that
it was
with us.
amazing. I had 2 weeks on Inishmore
Lovely.
Love that.
with a writers group of 15 other writers. And we wrote. We just wrote. Inishmore is so quiet and peaceful and
Love that.
inspiring. And I wrote a poem a day, Michal. I wrote a poem a day. It was fabulous. So, and tremendous acceptance. It was great. So, anyway, that's all.
Congratulations. Sing, do you want to give us an old how are you doing? Love to hear from you.
So hi, Miha. I am one of those shy people. Hello everybody. The breakout group. I feel this trepidation every step of the way, but I think I'm feeling more comfortable, and I'm very happy to be here and really enjoy talking to Cheryl and Karen about Carl Jung came up and Montana came up, and just about life things in general and connecting. And it's amazing to me. Now watch, I start out by saying I'm shy, and then 20 minutes later she finally shut up. But this is what I'm going to say is that
I love that.
I feel I haven't really had this. I've been on so many Zoom meetings with a bunch of people for work.
Sure.
But I haven't had this sense of community before on Zoom, and it's really incredible. And so yeah, I've been wanting to, and I talked to Miha, to join the circle, and just didn't dare. And finally, for some reason, about 5 days ago, it was like, just come on,
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
I've actually worked with Sing before on my Songs of Life series.
Right. Amazing.
I think we must have done 9 or 12 or something singing. We were great fun.
Yes.
And she was a really fine singer, but it was great to see an order come in from her, because, we had met years ago, but Sing Murphy came in. Songs of Life by Sing Murphy, and I thought somebody was pulling my leg.
Oh yeah, it's like a spam. Yeah.
Is it a bot? But actually, it's fabulous. And she's a photographer, and she's got beautiful cats and everything. And we had a great old time singing away. Yeah.
Thank you. And I will be back.
Great.
Life got a little rough there, but.
Of course.
Or else you'd have to change your name to Sang Murphy.
Sang Murphy.
That's right.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. I'm sure you've heard that one before, but I'm sorry.
No, actually I haven't.
Nice.
I get called Song all the time. I'm like, why would being called Song make more sense to people than Sing? But no, I have not been called Sing.
Okay.
I often think of David White has such a great teaching around these emotions of shyness and reluctance. In particular, he uses that word a lot. And his whole take on shyness and reluctance is like, those are emotions when you're actually in the presence of something that matters to you. Those emotions can manifest, because if it doesn't matter, you don't really care, or it doesn't occur to you. But if shyness is niggling, or reluctance is sort of even more negative than shyness, that's because there's something there. It's aggravating. It's getting at you. And when you feel those emotions, those are important to explore and to tease out, to unravel. So we all know that sense of reluctance. Oh my God. I mean, it's how many times a day are you like, oh, I don't want to do that now. How many times a day, I wonder, do I say that? But it actually stop. Those are the things that most likely have some message for us, So I often think of those things. Reluctance, that means you're in the presence of something that is calling you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Lovely. Anybody else want to?
Thanks, Sing. See you later.
So it's great to see both familiar faces and some new faces. I'm excited to check out the new website, Cormac. Looking forward to that and sharing both soup and other recipes as well as poetry and some of the things that are shared here as well. I'm also going to give a shameless plug. I've been on several trips with these guys and Noreen, and it will be a gift to yourself if you haven't been able to do that yet. So strongly urge you to do that. And had a great time down at Ballymaloe after I left you guys, where I went to their cookery school for 3 days, which was also a huge gift to me. But it's always a treat to see you. And I was thinking about, you had a lovely conversation with somebody that I hadn't met before. And so that was great. To meet Kira, who's in Santa Fe. And she said, "Oh, there's somebody else in this group from Santa Fe." I'm like, "Yeah, I've been in a breakout room with that person before, unless there was a third person from Santa Fe." And so it was a reminder to me of kind of those connections sort of throughout, whether it's similar experiences, like, the whole her daughter wanting to be a mushroom for Halloween, right? And then the mushroom poem, which is just delightful. But I was also really struck by that concept of the meanwhile, which was so essential to me during COVID, because during COVID, I would go for a walking meditation out in some tidal marshlands and didn't see anybody else. And it kept my sanity during that time. And it was so reassuring to see the tides were still coming up and going down. The birds were still nesting, and the chicks were hatching, and the seasons were changing, and there was so much that was so uncertain during that time that nature really provided a lot of solace. And meanwhile, it went on. So thank you for continuing to bring that back.
Thanks, Kathleen.
Thanks, Kathleen. Yeah. That meanwhile one, that was a great one, Michal. That's a great way to.
Well, there's meanwhile 3 times in the poem, but I wouldn't have realized that unless I had tried to memorize it, which I did just about memorize it. So it's only through memorization that you because any words that repeat are free, if you think about it, if you're trying to learn something off. So it's like when you're learning a song, if things repeat, they're free. You don't have to work on them. So the meanwhile
and if a poet puts the same word 3 times in a tiny piece of text that they've poured over for days and weeks and over a period of long time, that there's a very real reason why that word's repeated, isn't it?
And I had heard it 100 times before that, but only when I sat down to memorize it that the meanwhiles became apparent. So,
Kathleen Walker.
Oh, hey, Owen. Hey,
Kathleen.
Michal. How are you?
Great.
So we have a few Kathleens here. So I was with Kathleen from Florida, and also Olivia Huff for the first time. It was wonderful. And we talked about Kripalu because Kathleen and I were both up there. And Olivia asked what was so inspiring about it. And I went down my list. And, it was a terrific weekend. And with Charlotte and David White and Noreen, it was just a great weekend. So if anybody wants to go to Kripalu, go when the lads are there, because it was a gift. And thank you.
So I was also there, and I wish I'd known. I had my eyes alert to other people I'd seen on the tour a couple of years ago. But anyway, it was indeed a really wonderful weekend. Just the music was beautiful,
Lovely
and
to meet you. It's good to see you.
and the poetry was inspiring, and it was just great.
Thank you, Carrie.
I
Thanks,
love the
Carrie.
addition of Charlotte into the twosome to make a threesome. It was like definitely it was like there was a family tie there.
Yes,
Fascinating.
Voices were perfect.
David White is a famous poet living in Seattle, and he's in his 60s, and his daughter is 27, maybe 26, and we've been singing with her off and on whenever we see her, and we created a trio for a weekend event at a Kripalu yoga center a couple of weeks ago in Massachusetts. So we got together the day before and we started singing together, and we really had no right to sound as nice as we did, really, because we hadn't rehearsed that much. I mean, I've been meeting with Charlotte online maybe only 5 or 6 times. Me and Charlotte are both kind of scatterbrained, so like one of us is always not turning up or getting it wrong. So we've scheduled like 10 of them, but we had like 5 or 6. And but she's done a lot of homework and she's able to slot in as, because she's learned songs directly from Noreen as well. So there's a great transmission of the material to her through Noreen and through ourselves. So it's all coming. I love it when a plan comes together. It's probably what David's looking at in the background there. So, but it's a great joy. Thanks so much. Yeah.
Great. Well, I think
there's something I wanted to share very quickly, Owen.
Please do, yeah.
We had a great conversation, Sylvia and Patricia and myself, and Sylvia was saying one of the gifts from her mother's memory was a love of the trees after they've let go of the leaves. Often we see a bare tree, especially in the harsh light of winter, and we don't feel a love for that. At least I didn't. But we were saying that that's one of the great gifts that Sylvia's mother really gave her, is a love for that winter aesthetic, that winter state, of the trees. And I overheard myself saying that I didn't even realize it was possible to love a tree in its bare winter state, So it was really a revelatory moment, to be honest, and a beautiful reminiscence of that memory. And Patricia was saying actually, because then the bare structure, the core structure of the tree is visible.
Yes.
And it's strong branches and its failed branches or its reluctant branches and its weaker ones are all visible. So there was a great metaphor there that's so accessible in the coming weeks to us, that we can actually fall in love with something that's in a hibernational state, and so that was beautiful. And I actually wanted to share a quote and a poem of mine that's unpublished. There's a quote by a Scottish poet who died in the early 20th century called William Sharp, and he says, "Go to the winter woods, listen there, look, watch, and the dead months will give you a subtler secret than any you have yet found in the forest." Go to the winter woods, listen there, look, watch, and the dead months will give you a subtler secret than any you have yet found in the forest.
Who is that?
William Sharp. Yeah, William Sharp has died in December 1905, a Scottish writer of poetry and literary biography in particular, who from 1893 also wrote, he used a nom de plume, an alias as Fiona MacLeod, a pseudonym kept almost secret during his lifetime. He was also an editor of poetry and born in Glasgow. So, but it's a brilliant quote, and there's a lot of lovely quotes actually around winter being a holder of secrets. Of course, it makes a lot of sense that it holds something until just the right moment, and then it was in there all along. And I was saying in our conversation that I submitted a draft of a second book of poetry to my brother, who's basically the god of my life, and the crom dove of my life, and also to David White as well, just to see what they think.
David's the real crom dove.
You're the real Grob Dobo, much more powerful. And so anyway, I have a secret. I have a secret, but I also have a poem about the art and craft of keeping a secret. So when I've said that line now, all of you are identifying whether or not. Those of you who can keep a secret, you know you can. And those of you who cannot keep a secret, you know you can't. Because I believe that there are two types of people in the world, those who can keep a secret and those who cannot. And I'm a proud card carrying member of those who cannot keep a secret. So
Against your best judgment. I mean, it's like it just comes out.
it just comes out, man. So don't tell me anything. But also this
Unless
poem
you
is
want.
dedicated.
Yeah.
Unless you want. So this poem is dedicated to all of us who attempt to tend to the art form of keeping a secret. I think the title of the poem is called "The Secretist," and maybe I'll email it to you in the coming days. And it's called "The Secretist," and it goes, "Can you keep this safe? Can you listen to it unfolding, not interrupting, and hold the warm egg of a secret? Does your voice quiver with fear of incontinence? Do you doubt your stealthy wisdom? A good secret will do this. Be warned, no fame is accrued in this art form. No notoriety or whispers precede your arrival. That's the one who keeps the secret. They do not murmur in awe. I know many geniuses and they know me. Their eyebrows cock and heads tilt, their mouths fall open. A secret is held by harnessing the trust it accompanies. Bury it in your warm breast. Not much is beholden to you in this world. You hold a precious key, an opportunity to become the mystic secretist. So may we hold the secret that the burgeoning winter has to offer us, and until just the right moment.
Thank you so much. And I'll see you in the morning, Nihal.
Yes, best of luck. Have a great flight, Owen. I'll be there to collect you. And I just stopped off at the deli and got some home cooked Irish ham for you.
Stop. Jeez, there'll be no shortage of good food now the week ahead. Oh my God.
So no, it'll be great. It's a decadent. It's actually
decadent.
I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. It's more than I deserve, Owen. I appreciate you bringing me along.
Good, sure. We might get you to drive a van and sing a song while you're at it too. So
yeah.
And thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
So
great crowd
lovely
today.
to see you all, and to everyone on the recording too. Please keep in touch, and we'll see you soon. We'll see you for the Samhain event on Sunday. Share that with anyone as well too who might be interested in
it's a free
this
event,
crazy
so.
caravan of psychedelic experience. And we'll see you all soon. So great.
Just one quick thing on the sound one. I think it's 4 p.m. Irish time because the clocks are going back.
Oh.
So anyone joining us from Ireland, it's 4 p.m. and
Not
it's
5.
the usual time on Sunday, not Saturday next week.
It's on Sunday, not Saturday next week.
Yeah, so usual time, guys, on Sunday next week. We'll see you then.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Thank you,
Thanks, Connor.
everybody.
Talk to you soon. Bye. Bye, everyone.